I read something else this morning that CM Punk apparently threw a chair and it hit one of the Young Bucks and knocked him out. So I don't know if this is. It sounds,
well, the rumor said CM Punk was the aggressor, but I wasn't there, and I don't know anybody that was that's telling me any of this information. So I don't really want to say more or less or anything on it. Besides that, there's probably an argument. Some got carried away, and they probably the way of fixing it is like, hey, making it more of a work.
I do have a question.
You do or somebody else
me.
does? All right.
If this is legit, if this is not a work, does Tony Khan suspend CM Punk like he did Eddie Kingston? Like, what do you do when
what was Eddie Kingston's punishment again?
He just 2 weeks suspension for mushing.
2 weeks of what? No TV?
Yeah, he was off air for 2 weeks.
Paid and all that stuff.
I'm not sure if he paid or not.
It would have been off 2 weeks of TV anyways, probably, because they come on TV 1 week and then they're gone for 3. So, yeah, sure, why not? Be off TV, sure. I gotta use you for 3 weeks anyway, so I'm gonna give you a 2.5 week suspension, and you're gonna come back and do a promo. Sure. Definitely fines. I mean, I don't know if WWE would take you off TV. I know that they fined you. Like, you would get fined for stuff or drug tested. Yeah. Then upon, like, if you have a controversial history or with drugs or doing some kind of crazy whacked out stuff on drugs, you know. So if you would do something and it fell into that gray area, yes, they would test your ass too. But a lot of times, in the Attitude Era, on average, it was around a $5,000 fine, $3,000 to $5,000. And I know one time I was brung in a room with a bunch of other people and Luna and stuff and accused of something because somebody had a tape recorder and they taped all this stuff going on. Now, they were accusing them of steroids. So I'm not going to mention all the other people that are in the room, but they were all names. They're Hall of Famers and other things, right? So there's a lot of people in there. And some came out prior that were just in there for the same shit. I didn't buy anything or fall for this, but I was pulled in the group with Luna and other people that all had conversations with this person, and I absolutely was playing stupid. I know what DECA does for you. I know, but I'm like, oh, does that make your because I don't trust anybody, man. I grew up in Deerfield, third world. Everybody's the police to me trying to get you, man. I don't trust anybody. I'm like, oh, does that help your shoulder heal and stuff? Because I was coming back off a shoulder injury. But I didn't buy it because I didn't know the dude. I knew him, kind of. But to me, it was all suspect. Just to pull you out at random and try to sell you steroids or something. You know, you're like, what? It's so weird, you know. And I didn't. But I was pulled in there, and Vince McMahon was in there himself. And he'd be like, I'm not throwing stones in glass houses. He wasn't mad. If he was mad about anything, he was mad because you got caught. Like, he was like, you're stupid, you know. So he's like, I'm not throwing stones in glass houses, but you are on tape. And I was thinking to myself, I ain't on no damn tape buying. I didn't do anything. But his ultimatum was like, he did his speech and everybody was in there and there was a lot of names. He said, well, you could take a test right now and prove your innocence, or you could take the alternative. And I was thinking, man, pee or blood, I don't know what test they're going to take, but I didn't do this shit, but I know what I did last night. It certainly wasn't steroids in my system, but there was some in my system. So I'm like, man, do I give him my blood or pee or whatever it is and open up Pandora's box? Like, speaking of Pandora's box, we'll get to it in a second, but do I open up this Pandora's box? Because I don't know what they're going to look for. Hold up. Like, you just don't know what you're being set up here, because it was already a suspect situation. Or the tape and all that. And, I leaned back and he's just waiting for an answer. And I remember one of the guys sitting next to me. He's like, "Oh," he was getting really mad, really mad, because he's like, "Oh, come." He was like naming all these names. Why aren't these people in here? You know, but they were. Some, not them, but I'm not even gonna say who was in there and left out. But I just I leaned back, thought about it real quick. I remember Luna's looking at me, because Luna knew I was innocent. Like, I was innocent in this situation, but they didn't want to hear, like, oh, I didn't do it. They wanted, hey, give up your urine or your blood or whatever it was, test to prove your innocence, or take the alternative. He didn't say what the alternative was. I was like, I leaned back and I'm like, damn, man. Pandora's box, so I opened it up for all the other bad shit I did. I'm innocent here, but I'm guilty because shit's caught me. Karma's got me. So I leaned back and said, I'll take the alternative. Everybody looked at me like looked at me crazy because most of them knew I was even innocent of these charges. And then one of them's like, no, why would you do that? I go, man, you was with me last night. You know why I'm doing that. And they went, oh, yeah, I'll take the alternative of the other one and the other one. Yeah, so a couple people raised their hands, and then he goes, okay. $5,000, get out of here. Or $3,000 or whatever. $5,000, I think it was. Get out of here. And okay, thanks. And like I left. But here's the funny thing: is they never took that money from me because they knew I was in. I didn't do it. I said no to the guy because like it was so suspect to like. Then that wasn't the only reason. I just didn't need it at the time. It wasn't like I was like whatever. Like it was suspect and. Just growing up in the streets and stuff, you kind of smell a setup. When there's a setup, you're like, hey, you're kind of, you're a little bit educated to it. So that was something that passed on. But, yeah. But I never did. I think Luna got fined. She paid it. She had to pay it, but I never got it. And the other guys got fined. I think a lot of people were guilty, but I was innocent. But I don't know how we got into that story, but I think that's what was
with the CM Punk issue.
Oh, with the fines and stuff. Yeah, I think they should at least levy... Somebody's got to answer for it. So
Yeah.
if they're making $1 million, they should absolutely get a $5,000 fine, and it should be public knowledge or something. You have to set some kind of example or precedence. You can't just go around throwing chairs or whatever it is, or swinging punches or spitting at people, or even coming up and verbally abusing somebody. Even though in my generation era they would. And it was accepted, and they would beat you up sometimes too, or you would beat them up or whatever, or fight back. But it's changed now, and the world's changed, and people treat people better now. We understand the error of our ways. We understand the ignorant use of words, which I'm still working on, Raymond, you realize. And then, there's a lot of things, we're educated now. We're more educated. And sensitivity levels and stuff like that. So we should be aware of things like that. So, yeah, it's a professional company. And it is wrestling, and we're known to be barbaric or whatever. but these guys, if they don't want to be body shamed and are using words like this and this and that, then they're going to have some other... you're going to have a better social behavior and address things a lot better. So, yes, I believe they should be fined. Not suspended. Fined.
Okay. If they lose money.
Yeah. Hit them in the wallet.